Whoo! Aloha! Welcome to my lanai. I'm Lenny, and you're here on Late at Night with SOS. And we're going to tell you all the latest. And I'm watching myself in my phone, and my husband's watching me in his phone. And so we're hoping that everything's all a go go. Hey, if you're with us, we have our live chat on. I see somewhere in Oregon has already joined us. Hey, aloha. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit because the bell will let you know when we go live. Okay. And I've got a really special guest tonight, but I want to welcome you again to my lanai, which is located on the Big Island and on the side of a live active volcano. Ooh, what a trip. And the creativity that you feel when you live on this beautiful Mother Earth over here is just nuts. So that's why I'm doing this show because that and I'm, well, getting older and can't sleep most of the time. So, hey, but welcome to my lanai. And it's another beautiful evening here in Hawaii. Nei. It's you and me and the Kokioki Doki. A little chilly tonight, so I wore my mink coat for you. Hey, if you have a dead animal from before, wear it because now's the time. It's cold. I'm not saying go out and buy a mink coat, but this is an antique that was gifted to me. I'll tell you, I'm so happy because I could really use it up here. It's cold up here. Um, as you know, all my life I've been a dedicated and Hawaiian activist, and I am loyal to the still sovereign Hawaiian kingdom, never giving up hope that someday soon we will overcome this illegal occupation by the U.S. military industrial complex and that we will survive this pandemic and that in our Queen's prophecy, as she says in her epic speech, our people will rise and be the nation they once were, the Hawaiian nation. And I'm really never going to give up on that. Like I said, please like and subscribe, hit the bell, help me share this thing because, well, I'm a broke ass Hawaiian and I'm not really taking any Fed rec cash right about now. So, also, I want to let you know I hate Mark Zuckerberg. He's a scumbag, garbage person. So you could share my shit on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I'm not going to do it because, wow, he's buying up more of Kauai. And as you know, Kauai is becoming now the new hub for techies and defense contractors and on target for Robin Danner's casino. Um, well, I wanted to call the segment TPs and casinos, but that's really not correct politically. So I'm calling it Reservations About Casinos. Is that okay? Anyway, that's coming up in the show. But I don't want to be on Facebook myself. So if you could share my stuff, I'd really, really appreciate it. Oh gosh, what now? I love you. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're just tuning in right now, I keep saying that because I'm used to doing radio. What is it called when you join a show? Oh my gosh, there's Kuhan. Aloha, Kuhan. She's awake. You see, it's not that late. It's really not that late. It's once a week. And anyway, welcome to Late at Night with SOS. Like I said, you can hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, like it, share it with your friends. Oh my God, somewhere in Oregon's had so much coffee. Well, you know what? Me too. And here's a nod to my old radio station, KKCR, that I was broadcasting live for about 15 years. You know them, right? Mm-hmm. They're on every day. You could check them out online, kkcr.org, my beloved hometown of Hanalei over there on Kauai. All right, tonight we have a special guest, Hank Fergestrom. He's going to share with us why Fed rec is completely awful, disgusting, stupid, as well as illegal and a war crime. in our segment called Reservations About Casinos. And we're also going to discuss COVID vaccination updates, minimum wage, and generally whatever else I want to throw in there because, well, it's my show, it's my party, and I can do whatever I want. Well, I want to just say to you, Trumpians, finally, America's first. You guys win. Yes, 25% of the world's COVID deaths is in the USA. America's first, leading the way in COVID deaths. I really should have invested in a crematorium business because, oh, wait, what's going to happen with all the dead bodies? This is why you guys got to wear the mask, okay? Here's the latest link to how to get vaccinated. And I found this hotline number 800 300 1120. 800 300 1120. And it says Hawaii distributes its vaccines to hubs throughout the state. I'd like to know what the hubs are. Okay. Those currently eligible are frontline essential workers, including medical personnel who are receiving vaccines through their employer or industry, adults 75 years and older who can register through this website, which is on this thing I'm reading, organizations with frontline essential workers in phase 1B. What's 1B? May complete a survey to identify their eligible workers and coordinate vaccinations. Those in 1B include first responders, corrections officers, emergency service dispatchers, critical transportation infrastructure workers, such as harbor and dock workers, public transportation, critical utilities, such as energy, water, teachers, child. You know what? Doesn't it sound like the normal Joe guys that work every day? All about our age. Why is there any kind of age restriction when most of these jobs are filled with people of all different ages? So, doesn't really make sense. Ooh, Navahine is on here. Aloha. Oh my God. Navahine kaho'opi'i. Aloha. She stayed up for me and Hank. Ooh, we let the bag out. We let the bag who our guest is. Okay. Anyway, quite ridiculous because all these people they're describing are the normal, but what if you're not like of the age? I don't know how they're really qualifying and quantifying all this stuff. So, that's my up about the COVID vaccination. We're not on the radar at all. I don't know, you guys. I passed a whole bunch of Hawaiians on the side of the road with their upside down flags. Jean Tomashiro, them. Ouch. You guys got to stop that shit. Quit using our flag. Okay. This is not a political or a racial thing. If you don't believe that COVID's real, quit saying all Hawaiians don't believe that COVID is real. You don't speak for us and you shouldn't use our flag. Okay. It's really wrong. And by the way, what if you're wrong, Jean Tomashiro? What if you guys are wrong? You guys will be really sorry if you were. There's like a minute chance that you're wrong. And I feel that you're behaving very foolishly and you have to stop doing that stuff. It's ridiculous. Okay. Moving on real quick because we got a really great meaty show for you. Like you're going to have to get out your steak knife and a big glass of red wine for this shit that we're going to talk about. But we're going to talk about real quick discussing minimum wage because how disgusting is it that we live in the supposed richest country in the world and minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. Okay. And here in Hawaii, remember now the Democrats are now posing like they're all, oh, we're going to rescue you guys. We're going to save your asses. Da, da, da. Really, the only guy sticking up for us right now is Bernie Sanders because he's not a freaking Democrat. And of course, you got AOC in there, but mostly people are like, wow, what's going on? The Democrats are just like assuming as usual. Like, we can't go back to the way we were. Certainly $7.25 an hour is not going to pay for anything for anybody. And even $15 an hour is not going to pay for anything for anybody. And so I want to read to you from this article that comes from Dean Baker. And he's the leader of a progressive think tank, and my dear friend and sister of mine, home again, Dawn Niederhauser, works for. And she shared this article with me. And after I saw it, but actually I first saw it on Ring of Fire on YouTube. And he was, Farron Cousins was talking about the minimum wage thing. Also, it was on the Rational National, and David Duell talked about it. So this thing's going around, and this is written by Dean Baker. Okay. So his whole article is about the fact that if our minimum wage was based on productivity versus median income or median wage, we would be all, if we worked at McDonald's, people worked at McDonald's, would be making $48K a year, $48,000 a year. And the supposition is if people got higher wages, they'd be putting that money back into the economy, and the economy would be more robust than ever, and everybody would have enough. And this would be if since 1968, the minimum wage had been based on productivity versus median wage. So this article, I'm going to open it up right now on my phone. Please open up. Open it up, phone. It's not going to open up. Okay. I got to look on my Gmail real quick. But it's really interesting because I never considered that. Don't you guys think we've been really fucking productive around here in Hawaii? If we had been getting paid for our productivity, well, meaning that our productivity would be how much income we've created for all these fucking corporations, right? Then if we got a share of that, what minimum wage would be if it kept pace with productivity. This is from CPR.net. And the bottom line is, it says, until 1968, the minimum wage not only kept pace with inflation, it rose in step with productivity growth. That changed then. Now everything's based not on productivity, but median. So this is something that all of us should really understand, and I really encourage you to check this thing out, CEPR.net. It'll tell you why are we settling for this $7.25? It's bullshit. And the more you know, the more you know. So I just really wanted to share that with you. I wanted to say thank you to Dawn and to Dean Baker for, he's an economist out of Washington, D.C., and he's talking about, very embarrassing, the freaking bill they just introduced for $15 an hour. What the hell, you guys? You guys are worth billions, all of you senators, and you cannot see fit to just allow people to have a good income that would benefit. Oh, wait. Shit. That's socialism. That's leftist. Oh, shit. No. Shh. Don't talk about that. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later on. In the meantime, before he goes to Fergstrom, come have a sat over here. And we've got a great discussion. Oh, I just almost slid. We've got a great discussion tonight that we're going to have. You got your notes, everything?
Yeah.
Pretty much I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to be taking some notes and just really listening to what you have to say. First of all,
you gotta lead into it, don't you?
Yeah, of course. I wanted to talk about why you didn't go to the palace on January 17th, why you decided after 20 years of that whole, and even talk about how it was every year? I mean, you started obviously by yourself the first year and it progressed and it grew and you decided this year not to grow, to go.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Aloha, everybody. I'm Uncle Hank first. And anyway, so what Kailani was talking about is the vigil I've been looking at Kailani for the last 20 years. It actually started in July of 2000. And we started to do that because there seemed to be a gap that happened where Hawaiians were no longer at the palace on January 17th. And it was like, hey, you know what? We can't just let this time pass. So we figured we'd go down. We actually, I didn't. My partner, Kanak Napiai, who was with me at the time, he got a dream. He got a visit by one of our kupuna who just had passed away. And he said to find me and go down to the palace and hold these vigils. And so we thought, this is a good idea, but we actually took it a step further because in our effort to try to look like we're not causing a problem, but we're actually standing up for something in particular, which was honoring the fact, well, giving honor to the fact that our kingdom, not honor to the, what's the right word? Acknowledgement of the illegal overthrow. And commemoration, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really important because in international law, it always tells you the scene of the crime. So that's the scene of the crime. And so I felt it was really important for us to at least be there.
And wait, real quick. The scene of the crime being the overthrow.
Yeah, the scene of crime being the Iolani Palace and the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom government by the United States military. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I've been doing this for 20 years, and people have been asking me if I was going to participate this year, and I was trying to figure out how to explain to them, well, how to say, you know what, let's be careful. And I figured out if I just say why I'm not coming, which was all about the COVID. And it's not that I'm an alarmist or anything like that. It's like, let's just, the fact that there's dead bodies everywhere is a pretty good idea. Yeah, it was on the side of caution. And I needed to do it in such a way, or talk about it in such a way where I'm not standing there telling you what to do. I'm telling you why I'm not coming and why I don't want to attract an audience to come where I. Anyway, so I did that. It went over really well. I was actually surprised. I had lots of comments about what a good move that was to say out loud. And so thank you. And it was actually really good because even the march that normally happens was really scaled back real big time. Mm-hmm. Everybody was thinking about the fact that if the COVID was real, I mean, not if it's real, but if it was there, we wouldn't be taking it home to our kids. That was the main thing I wanted to get across. Mm-hmm. I know that we're all zealous. We all want to fight for the kingdom and make sure that we're known to do that. And that's really important. But what was really important to understand too is that you have to take yourself home to your family. And you could be bringing, you could be as zealous as you want. It doesn't help a damn thing if you come home with some kind of disease that's going to kill your parents or maybe your children. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was the logic behind that. Of course, some people went down there to do some real stupid shit. And I'm talking about Jean Thomas Shure. And I'm only saying that, look, if you were really fighting for the kingdom, then you didn't have to wait to jump the fence until you had all the news crews there. Okay? That kind of just tells you that you're actually there for the news place. I mean, you're looking for the attention, right? Anyway, I'm kind of like Kaiulani. I hate when people start claiming to be representing the Hawaiian people when you don't. I'm going to tell this to you right now, and I'm going to tell it to your face, Gene. I've told it to you your face before. There is just no mechanism in place to allow you to be a Hawaiian national. Period. I don't care how zealous you are. I don't care if you're the number one fan. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying legally there has been nothing in place to allow that to happen. So, and you got to be realistic with people. You started off, when I first met you were all about common law. And we discussed this many, many times. And yes, the common law, Bigland should be the supreme law of land, with exception of Hawaiian usage and Hawaiian judicial precedent. Mm-hmm. Everybody seems to walk around that Hawaiian usage and Hawaiian judicial precedent. And it's like, anyway, getting things in order. Okay, so what were we going to talk
Okay,
about?
well, actually, you went right to where I wanted to go because there are Hawaiians that are participating in this Trumpian behavior, and they don't believe that the pandemic's real. They're putting other people at risk. And my whole thing is, why pick your fight? I mean, really,
That we have.
all the things we have to fight. The only thing we can gain from wearing a mask is not getting sick. Look, I have to address that.
Okay.
I'm nutty as a freaking loon. Okay. Everyone knows this about me. I've spent the last 20 years with headphones, sitting by satellite dishes and magnetic waves, and I don't have COVID. So 5G does not cause COVID. Get your shit together, people. I mean, it's just crazy the things that people are buying into.
Well, there are
They,
correlations,
I've
but
had,
it's not necessary.
I've had Ruthie Bolame message me to help procure hydrochloroquine for our people.
I'll just buy a case of Clorox too. Wasn't that the other thing he said?
I don't know. I just rather just drink a ton of vodka. Don't
That'd
you
work
think
too.
that would work better than fucking bleach?
You'd sure like it a lot better.
Anyway, all right, Jean Tomashiro, whatever. Okay. You're cuckoo. Before we move on to the next thing, Hank, I wanted to bring up this brilliant young man, Keone Alvarez. Remember our Keone?
Keone's a good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
He's releasing his film. It's called Kapu Sacred Hawaiian Burials, and it has a whole lot of stuff about Nahala Onawe in there. It'll take you back in time, and we'll keep you informed about when this is coming out. But we want to say aloha to you, Keone. All right, we're moving on now to our big main discussion about, well, I wanted to call it casinos and teepees, but that's not nice.
Well, I don't know what's nice or not.
Reservations about casinos? Evidently, the state of Hawaii, the federal government, and some other powers that be in the international realm are already eyeballing us. Our homelands are already being referred to as reservations. And now we're in the crosshairs again of Robin Danner and her casino gambling / reservation.
If I can just clear that up a little bit, because
Okay, well,
that's
I'm
not
just
exactly correct.
introducing.
Okay, so by the way, she doesn't really support. She doesn't openly support casinos. In fact, she openly is against casinos. But my question is why? And the reason I say that is because she is a product of Danny Noy. Okay, she was taught how to do it. She's really a good speaker.
Okay.
A very good speaker.
Mhm.
She's very good at being able to speak without saying the buzzwords that make you go, oh, that part. You know, that like she talks about the why you want to be have federal recognition. But she won't really emphasize what she means by being in parity with them. And so parity, of course, is like, you know, so the laws are even, right? The question is, you have to ask yourself, how many Indians on the reservation do you think like what they're in?
Well, let's
Besides the few that-
just start with that word parody.
Okay.
A parody is where you're kind of doing a mock-up of something else.
Yeah, yeah,
So we're not gonna, it's a performative thing.
yes.
And so our people are going to now be doing a mock-up of what the native tribes are doing.
And this is something that people need to understand. When you talk about federal law has to be broad enough to encompass everybody. So I don't care what they're telling you about how special and different you may be than the Native American Indians, but when it comes to law, you're not.
Okay.
And so you need to understand what you are in the law. How they see it, no matter what they think they're telling you. The bottom line is they can tell you anything. What they count on is the paperwork.
Let me ask you this, okay? Two things. Okay, exactly how are they proposing to like slide this through under the radar, so to speak? There doesn't seem to be any kind of vote happening or,
Yeah.
okay, so
Okay.
set us up. Tell us what's happening.
Okay. So this is a proposal from the Department of Land and not the Department of Hawaiian Homes.
Okay.
And so we need to make quick separation. You have the State Department of Hawaiian Homes and you have the Federal Hawaiian Homes Commission Act.
Hmm.
They're the same thing except the to uphold the Congressional Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. Okay.
It's their office.
It's
Sort of.
Yeah, it's actually a mandate. It was part of the Emissions Act. They had to do it because
They had to have this agency.
they had to take on the functions that the federal government had already linked into, and because
Hmm.
the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act was in 1920, and of course the state didn't come around until 1959, they had to include that in or pass. What does you need? This gets even more complicated because
Okay, try and just spell it out for us. Okay, what are they proposing? Who is proposing it?
okay,
So who's proposing what right now?
okay. So the Hawaiian Homes State of Hawaiian Homes Commission
Hmm.
is proposing to the legislature, and the legislature is entertaining it, to allow for a casino in a semi-resort kind of area out at the area called Kapolei out in Eva. Now, there's so many questions that go on there. First of all, if you understand Indian law, okay, and when you talk about casinos, a real simple way to do it is just go on the internet, look what the internet says about federal gaming. And I pulled off a piece called the National Gaming Impact Study Commission, which studies Native American gaming. And there's some really powerful language in there because, like I said, federal law has to be uniform. So no matter what they tell you, you need to look at what they've said before.
Hmm.
And one of the things that stands out right away is that Indian tribes are grouped under legal status of defeated nations. Defeated nations, okay?
So that means once they federally recognize us, we will be forever designated as a defeated nation.
Yes, and there's
What? Who the United States defeated beyond the Native American?
that's one of the reasons why this is so important because what this really is it's a roundabout way to get federal recognition. But it's not really to recognize you for you, it's because they want your land. They want the rest of the land. So if you remember in Public Law 103-150,
Hmm.
which is the apology bill, one of the whereas clauses that stood out the most was the Hawaiians were directly relinquish their inherent sovereignty or their national lands. Now, so what does this do? It tells them that you are now personally, directly releasing your inherent sovereignty and your national lands. Because it says here, in order to have this federal recognition, one of the stipulations are that you'd have to release all your pending land claims, which means your basically everything that's in the Cedar Lands Trust would now be no longer yours. It's going to be theirs. And there's some really good information out there. One piece of information that's important to look at is called the Dawes Act,
Hmm.
and the Dawes Act is also called the Lands and Severability Act, and it was a way of breaking up the reservations and putting them into lots, kind of like what we have today with Hawaiian homes. They're all in lots now. Um, but the misnomer is, and it's even a misnomer even within Native Americans, is that they don't even own the reservation. It's a trust obligation under the federal government, which means they can, as quickly as they announced or signed it in that you can be recognized, they can take it away just as fast.
Example, Standing Rock.
There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah. So these guys, and by the way, Standing Rock, they're standing in the river with a treaty in hand. It didn't matter, did it?
No.
And so I tell everybody, I says,
And they got pelted with rubber bullets, dogs set upon them, hosed
Yeah.
And then you saw the riots in DC and the cops are going, oh, hey, calm down now.
It's a shame because eventually they won some ground, but what did they lose in the meantime? I'm not sure if they really appreciate the fact that it didn't freaking matter if you had a treaty in hand because you're dealing with the United States, who is absolutely a belligerent occupier. They don't care what you have to say.
Yes.
And so
That is a really good term, belligerent occupier.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it's a technical term,
Mhm.
you know, and we need to understand that it's just not about casinos. The casino is what they call palu in Hawaii. When you go fishing, you throw the chum out, right?
Mhm.
This is the chum. Okay, what they really want is to grab us to say, yes, we want this pie in the sky, and what we'll do is we'll give you the the pie that's actually right here for this dream that's never going to happen.
Kuhan said it's like we're gonna build a prison and you guys can live in the prison. We'll put you in the prison and then we'll give you a cut of the profits.
Yeah, that's what
Because
what's
that's
happening.
exactly
I
what he
want to
knows
say
to do.
something about this too, because
Mhm.
one of the little lines they want to use is that you're going to have self determination,
Mhm.
self governance.
Mhm.
Well, people don't understand. You can have self determination and self governance in a fucking parking lot. Okay,
You
what you
can.
do? We can just put a fence around you, knock yourself out.
You
Which
can
is
just take
exactly
up two
why
spaces and that's the same thing.
that's the same thing.
I do it all the time with my truck.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's
I'm
like,
like, I'm taking
why
two
would you
fucking
give up
spaces.
that
I don't
spot
care.
to be an Indian when that you need to look at the Hawaiian Homestead Act.
Mhm.
When they gave you the land in the first place, it wasn't because they want to be so nice to you. They had to justify to the international world why they were holding Hawaiian lands against our will.
Mhm. Mhm.
How did they get our lands? And so one of the deceiving things was, well, we're holding it in trust with them. Look, we just created the Hawaiian Homestead Act. But if you look at the act, they gave you the worst lands in Hawaii, the least
And then
arable.
they stole most of that back too.
Yeah, and now they're taking most of that
They
back.
don't want us to have that even. Remember that sensation about occupation video that I always used to play that showed Neil Abercrombie like frothing
Oh,
at the mouth?
yeah, when he's saying
And
all the land in
it's in
Hawaii.
2009. Sensation about occupation. It's here on YouTube. And he's totally slathering, selling off the rest of what we got left to the chemical corporations. Ige's sitting right next to him. And this was in 2009.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been going on for a long time.
Oh, this has been going on for so long. They've been trying to figure out how to get us to actually give up our inherent sovereignty. And this happens about every 8 to 10 years. It goes through this run again. Change. We there is, if anything that you should recognize is that we have a right to at least have our case be heard, and that case is about whether or not the United States has any authority whatsoever to assert their jurisdiction in the Hawaiian Kingdom, which is of course ours.
Which we know they have no jurisdiction.
Yeah, and so I learned a new word just a couple of weeks ago, and it's called material evidence. I wish I had known that term before because if you use it correctly, terms like that can actually open big doors. And I'll just have to come up with another court case in order to be able to use that.
Material evidence. That would be
Material
like
evidence means
presenting a deed.
presenting, yes, paper.
Some
Show me that
palapalas.
says that you actually have something.
Mhm.
Because everything that they've got was done, and any treaty that they claim they have was done with the provisional government of the Republic of Hawaii,
Mhm.
who were the illegal overthrowers with the support of the United States.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, what we have to do is we have to understand that the United States, the federal government, and this is for you people in the mainland too. They never do anything for you, ever. They're never
Ever.
doing anything for you. It's always for themselves. How do you fit in? Or how do we silence you with a little bit of juice money, right?
Mhm.
But anyway, so what's really important is this idea that you'd have to relinquish land claims. Because, as you know, the ceded lands that the state is claiming are the stolen lands of the Hawaiian Kingdom government, crown and government lands. I've been saying this for a long time. It's called fraudulent conversion. You're selling of lands that don't belong to you. But even before that, it's like, who are you to assert your jurisdiction in my kingdom? These are international laws that, yes, are going to come to be. But one of the things you can't do as a person fighting for your sovereignty, you cannot openly go and participate in the government affairs of the occupier because you lose your standing as one fighting for your sovereign rights, which is why I don't vote. But it doesn't mean I don't understand politics.
I voted.
Yeah, well, you kind of, people saying, you either have to be one or the other. No, 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 no. I don't have to be one or the other. I can be both because until I get the rights back to my properties and the revenues derived off it, I have to use what's available. And if the United States Constitution is the only thing that I got, even though I don't agree with them, because I don't think they actually have any rights. I've never seen it exercised yet. Except in this riot thing, now they say, oh, we had to think about the First Amendment things. Oh, yeah, and the right for them to carry guns in your fucking capital was supposed to be okay? That's kind of, I think you went off the deep end someplace, son.
Hawaiians can't even bring a stick into the frickin' burial council meeting. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had all the guns in there and stuff, and we had Hawaiians with malos and their walking sticks, and we got guns. So, we know this whole trip is just bullshit. But I wanted to bring it back to the gaming thing and the casino thing because I think right about now it's looking really good to a lot of Hawaiians. They're interested in what, because they're not seeing, they see the glamour of it or whatever. They just want to know what would this be? How would this affect us? So Chief Kenny Frost sent me, he's probably sleeping, poor baby, but he sent
He
me,
said some good stuff, actually.
yeah, he sent some really good stuff. Now, if we go ahead,
Okay.
I'll see you in a minute.
Old man, I got to use
that. Got to take a break. So, if we were to be federally recognized, because that's what has to happen first in order for the casino gaming trip to go on, right? Before any state has gaming, a lot of people in Hawaii would vote for gaming because we're just that kind of beautiful little roulette table in the Pacific. You know what I mean? So that's the first and foremost. So first, what would have to occur is actual federal recognition. All of that would have to be banged out. You can't just go throw some casinos down around here. Secondly, the state legislation must have legalized gaming. So the actual state that the gaming occurs in has to say that gaming's legal. Now, I've been advocating for a long time for a lottery system for visitors, that they're able, we could have a capacity. People get to come here via lottery and they pay the price, whatever it is. And we have our capacity. We maintain our income. We create lots of money for the economy. And we keep our ecosystems alive by holding it at a certain capacity that is allowed here by lottery. Oh, no, no, no. That's gambling. I'm always to actually benefit our schools, you know? Why not? So, and remember, I'm talking about these rules that we have to have already been federally recognized. And remember, if any of you are friends with Bernie Sanders, he said that it would be up to the Hawaiian people whether or not we want to be federally recognized. Ole Bernie Sanders. Federal recognition is a war crime. It is an illegal process that you would be perpetrating on an illegally occupied country. So all of you American politicians that profess to care about us here in Hawaii, you've really got to get your historical facts straight and understand what's going on. And I've been talking about these things that Chief Kenny sent me. He says, then the state or the Indian tribe must have permission and set up rules with the Indian Gaming Commission. So you understand, it's not going to be the Hawaiian Gaming Commission.
Yeah, and
controlling shit over here.
in his
It's going to be the Indian Gaming Commission.
right, and because it's federal, that's why he's going to be so independent, so different than everybody else.
Mm-mm.
But in federal law, you have to have uniformity. All all tribes, whether they're recognized federally or not, are still classified in the same area, and that classification is that of a defeated nation. Now,
And
and that's whether you have federal recognition or not.
uh-huh.
Okay, and even if you do have federal recognition, there's nothing saying that you're going to get gaming.
But
there's no
if we
rule
were
there,
to have gaming,
right?
we would be under the jurisdiction of the Indian Gaming
Yes,
Commission.
yes, yes,
We would
yes.
not be governing our own gaming.
You can actually look it up. There's all kinds of information on the
So
internet.
we will have less control than ever before under this thing. Finally, it says states cannot be in charge of any gaming commission, as this makes it easy for embezzlement.
Yeah, and if you look at what how
So
they're
the
putting this
state of
out,
Hawaii's trying to be in charge of this gaming
they've got
thing.
the whole commission, the Hawaiian Gaming Commission, already set up, and you get to have one Hawaiian on there. Isn't
Wow.
that wonderful? And they've even broken down on who gets the money. It's like, who said you get any of it? You're not the Indian here, but it raised a question in my mind, which may be a good legal challenge, because I think the way they're playing it is that they've actually gone out, and they have been for quite a while, without our really understanding it. They've been portraying themselves, the state of Hawaii, as the native people,
Hmm.
which they are not. And for the last 20 years, we've been
The Shah.
receiving all these federal funds earmarked for Native Hawaiians. In fact, it's never ever getting to the Native Hawaiians. It goes into the state in the state coffers.
And is that the
And I
Shah?
believe that is fraud.
Is that the Shah, the Sovereign Council of Hawaiian?
Yeah, and so the Shah is only is the only is it's only a portion of Hawaiian Homes Commission,
Mhm.
Hawaiian Homes Associations.
But they named it about 20 years ago, remember? They started calling it the Sovereign Council,
Yes, yes.
modeling it
But
after Fed
what I'm
Rap.
saying is a
Yeah.
whole bunch of Hawaiian Homes Associations are not part of that stuff.
Okay.
And again, it gets very deceivious because you start thinking it is.
Mhm.
Even a lot of people on Hawaiian homestead lands,
They all think it's the same
they
thing.
think it's the same thing, and it's not.
Here's another point that Chief Kenny sent over. Before construction starts, the casino facilities building must clear an EIS. Good luck. Environmental impact study, archaeological study, as well as impact study on people, sacred places, plants, and animals. Good luck.
Well, unfortunately, he's correct. But what we're not looking at here is who is the borough council, who is the state historic preserve.
Who's going to
It's
enforce
all the
this
same
stuff?
guys. It's the same guys, all in cahoots together. So if you think you're going to get any justice there, you should go read the book about Naui, where we have.
That's why I'm that we might actually have kind of, uh, you know,
If the laws actually work the way they're designed to work, that'd be a different story. But you have this civilian arm of a military occupation called the state of Hawaii, who's in control of all that. So do you think they're going to side on your side? That's why they've already made their own commission. It's not like they don't have the same understanding of the rules. They've got the internet too. They've got their lawyers. You think they don't know what they're doing? They're hoping that we don't know what they're doing. So we fall for it, right? And it's like, and of course, there's a lot of people out there who's like, well, we don't have anything and this and this and this. And, we've got to grab onto this. I go, you guys don't get it. As easily as they found Hawaiian Homes and signed it on a piece of paper, it's as easy as they can take it away. You need to know that Indian tribes are losing their federation every day.
every day.
Every day. Okay, there's new ones coming on board. They can't get. People have been fighting for a long time. But dig this: the largest Indian nation in the United States is the Navajo, and they don't want federal recognition
One of the things Kenny says
or
is
gaming. I'm sorry.
his last thoughts. Hawaii in charge because they've been violating federal and breaking laws,
Yes.
the Hawaiian homeland laws. they're just been breaking a lot of laws of being completely illegal. And now, Biden's trying to just shove everything under the radar here. And we can't let it happen. And unfortunately, a lot of people that used to fight against this thing are against Fed rat, or they've taken the money now. So what do we do? I mean, you've said to me very clearly, we have to show once and for all, even though it's been shown all over the place. I mean, we might as well have it all tattooed on our foreheads that we're illegally occupied. But somehow we've got to get it across that these guys don't have jurisdiction here. How do we do that?
Well, I've been in the courts for years and years and years. Okay, I haven't won a fucking case yet, but it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't know all the tricks that they use to keep me from being able to ask and bring forth one simple question. Show me your authority. The United States I'm talking to, show me your authority to assert a jurisdiction in another country. And I can guarantee you cannot. But that's why they won't let me get any judiciary, because it's a political question and because they claim it to be an executive decision. So they can't talk about it. But it's like, in the meantime, you can't talk about it. In the meantime, I'm supposed to expect that it's supposed to be okay to steal my land and sell it. That's called fraudulent conversion. So I believe that there may be, maybe not directly to talk about the sovereignty, but to talk to you about this other article I ran across, which happens to talk about unfair enrichment.
Unfair enrichment.
Enrichment. And this is very important because
unfair enrichment.
Yes, because like Hawaiian Homes, the reason why Hawaiian Homes is in such dire straits is because they lease out their land for $1 a year. Who said that that's all they're supposed to get? And you're wondering why the Hawaiians don't have anything? By the way, does it stop them from having their whole staff? They have huge staff, but when you ask them for any money to build your house, there's no money. But there's enough money to pay for you guys in your fucking retirement. Excuse my language.
No, you don't have to. It's late night.
But anyway,
late at night with SOS. We could say the F word.
What Hawaiians need to do is they need to sit back and look at what, if you understand that the federal government has never ever done anything for you, then you need to understand that this cannot be for you. So what are they doing it for? And then you'll understand it's all about them. I mean, like, if you look at the Hawaiian Gaming Commission that they set up, like I said, there's going to be one commissioner, if that comes to be, that's going to be Hawaiian. And all the money that it's going to make is all earmarked for all these different people. And by the way, the state of Hawaii Department of Homelands, Hawaiian Homelands, is a state department. So just because you said it's going to go to them.
Navahine says we don't need a casino. We need to collect fees already owed to us.
Yes.
Airspace, landing fees, port, harbor fees.
Yes.
Fair market value for lands being used by malls, Walmart, Monsanto, all of the chemical corporations, etc., all on our lands. Yes, that's so true. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Anna. That's so good because it's just true. This is where Hawaiians have really start understanding. Look, gang, it's no longer about pineapples and sugar cane. Okay, what we have the most ideal spot. I mean, just think of it. You own all the way to the center of the earth, to the highest in the sky. Well, what's in our skies? How about the Pacific satellites? All those channels, that's money. Those are incomes that you should be getting that you're not getting because the state wants to get it all and put it in their pockets and deny you, but say it's in behalf of you. Sorry.
Well, Adam says, born in San Diego, California, he saw many casinos being built. For those who run and have a share in the casinos, it was apparently a huge income gain and highly culturally destructive. But he doesn't know this personally. He just observed this. And I think that's a very correct observation.
It is.
I don't know any positive things that ever came out of a casino. And again, there's Kuhan's analogy of building a prison, and then you guys can get locked up in the prison, but we'll give you a cut of the income out of the prison. It's the same thing, So, yeah.
What they're really saying to you, like, to go on her analogy. Hi, Kuhan, by the way. It's like we already have a prison. Now they're telling you, what we're going to do is give you the keys. You'll have your own keys to the door. So just jump on in.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what they're saying.
Go ahead, pay us to go inside.
That's what they do.
Because we're going to be putting our nickels in the slot, right? Cha-ching. Because we Hawaiians, we love to go Vegas, right?
That's why you need to understand Indian gaming laws because you won't even be able to gamble in those facilities
Hmm.
because you're getting federal funds.
It's for them. And
It's
it's
all about
because
them.
right now they need something to insert to for the lagging tourism, and something's got to fund the military. Something's got to pay for their shit.
Well, what's really important about it is this small little piece in the end
Hmm.
that says you'd have to release your troops. Okay? The only way the military can expand the way it'd like to, they'd have to be able to claim the land, right? They're making all these side deals with the state of Hawaii, which is all illegal. You know,
Hmm.
we did this whole research on all the executive orders that either came from the president or the state of Hawaii, but they're all after the annexation that didn't happen. So it's like, you know what, gang? We could keep playing this game forever. That's what I'm saying. Material evidence is the term I'm going to be using next time in court. Show me your material evidence. I can show you your documents that you think are illegal. And let your own court say if it's legal.
Hmm.
But you won't do that because you know damn well the courts will agree with me. But there's a way. I I never lose fight.
I love you for that.
I
And you
just
never give up.
no.
As long as I've known
Why
you,
would
you
you want to
never
give
give
up?
up.
You got the
Well,
whole world at your disposal.
and this for a while. I think though, even if they're able to push this Fed rec through, if we can prove they don't have jurisdiction, even if they run roughshod over us and force it through anyway, we've laid the groundwork for the next generation to overturn it. And that's an important thing too, because I'm not sure we can stop them, even if we show proof. Because
Hey,
they're
we're
going to
done.
do,
That's the
yeah,
bottom
we're
line.
outmoneyed and
You
outgunned.
know,
But if we have this, if we show proof that we have jurisdiction, maybe the kids coming up, the millennials coming up, the next generation, they can take this fight on and,
it's amazing.
overturn whatever's coming next.
This younger
So,
generation is actually very impressive because there's
mhm,
a lot of stuff that we older guys hold deep to our heart because we went and dug it out of the bushes, and
mhm.
from under the mud. But these kids are coming in with this stuff already. You know,
Because they olelo.
they all know, yeah,
They got it
and
in here.
and it's finally in the school
Hmm.
system a lot of this information, right? But the reason why it's so promising is that they are less likely to give up than we are, than we the older group are. Kind of us older guys are kind of like, oh, I've been at this for so long, I should get something out
And
before I
they're
die.
facing such really hardships. Like they
Yes,
can't buy property. They can barely pay off their student loans. There's no jobs right now. They're COVID people. It's COVID. And these are the kids that when we go, they're already taking it over. And, this is what we're leaving for them. And it's just not really that acceptable. I feel like what we're leaving for them. But what's really fun about these next generation, these kids is that they're just not going to put up with any shit, and everything has to be relevant to them or they're not going to do it. And so I think this gaming thing, I've had some really good messaging from younger people that are like, well, what do you think about this? And so I think this is really a good talk that we had tonight, and
yeah, it's just,
that
and
we could shed
we
some
just
light.
scraped the top of this, man. You
Hmm.
should get into it. It's amazing how illegal this is and
Hmm.
how they're perpetuating. And by the way, I wanted to say that the real driving instrument behind this whole thing is the United States military. Okay, it's all
Exactly.
about the Pacific theater. They've
Hmm.
been building it up for years. They're all over the Pacific trying to build up the bases again in the Pacific, it's like the fucking Chinese and the South China Seas.
Hmm.
The problem is they want to use us as their mainstay, as their main port. And if you understand law, we are a neutral nation
Hmm.
in the legal
Under
relations
international law.
under international law, which
Still,
means you can't bring your war machine over here.
we do not house the arms of the belligerent occupier.
And it
It's
also says
against
under international
international
law,
law.
you have to keep arguing. You got to keep your fight, no
Mhm.
matter if you're winning or not. You have to fight alive in order to get any kind of international help, which is, by the way, is right around the corner. And I want to introduce to, while we're on that same subject, there's a there's a new paper that is entitled Aloha Aina Native Hawaiian Land Restitution, and it's put out by the Harvard Law.
Say it again.
It's called the Aloha Aina Native Hawaiian Land Restitution,
Okay.
and it's put out by the Harvard Law School.
Mhm.
It's a Harvard Law Review, but it's really up to date because half of this, most of this is about the TMT, or the fight for the telescope on Mauna Kea. But it tells you about this unjust enrichment, okay? And
Unjust enrichment.
how they've been able to, how we've been snowballed into thinking they're giving us something. They give us this little piece and they take all the goods from it. You know, like this is actually called fraud. And what Kenny is talking about is the state has been so illegal that they've gotten so blatantly illegal and so notorious in their belligerency that they actually document themselves. They're going to put themselves in jail. It's just absolutely amazing.
Death by selfie.
Hey, death by 1,000 cuts. And guess
I
what?
said that
They
last
got the
week.
knife. They're the ones with
Death
the
by
knife.
1,000 cuts.
That's right. Them.
With their dollar bills.
Yeah, there you go.
They're freshly minted dollar bills.
Yeah, they're sharper when they're fresh, huh?
Hey, you know what? It's been really fun having you here tonight. It's already 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It went quick.
Yeah,
and
it did.
I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I really enjoyed having you here with us in our backyard here with our Koki chorus. And
Koki chorus. Yeah.
if you really liked what you heard here tonight, please share it because it is important information. And I think we really need to diffuse the glamour of gaming. There is no glamour in it. There's no glory in it. We're not going to profit from it. We as a people will not profit. We've got to just really diffuse that glamour and the allure of the casino and understand that casinos can be fun. Hey, you want to really go to a casino? Go to Monaco. I'll loan you my mink. Okay. No casino over here. Ole. It's not who we are. We're not like that. We could always just set up like Konani gaming centers or whatever, but this casino thing is really, really ole pono. And so really encourage you to really do your research. Thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, my
And
pleasure.
coming and having
Thanks
a
for
cup
having
of soup and talking story.
Good soup, too.
Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments, any kind of critiques, criticisms. Again, hit the subscribe, like button, and the bell. You got to hit the bell so that you know when we're live again. They'll let you know. I don't know. I'm still learning this stuff. And anyway, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
See you guys.
Hawaii pono'i.
Hi.
Hawaii pono'i. And malama ike kahi kahi. You guys stay healthy. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Take a shower. You know. No mohoni hamau. We'll see you next week. Love you. Be safe.
See ya. Oh, that was fast.